All right, we're back. Talks Over Drinks. Corey Fauquier, my partner, the guy Markel Primes, and our new sponsor, attorney Jacoby K. Whitley is in the house, man. What is good?
Man? Good, man.
It's good
I've
to
known
see
you
you.
for a long time.
We done known each other for like 4 years.
Yeah, man.
This is where we met.
Yep.
We met at the Christmas party for the Hill Tucker Bar Association.
Yes, we did.
And that was just the year before you graduated.
Yes. I hadn't graduated law school yet.
Okay, so
Yep.
bring us up to speed. You got fresh gear.
Yeah.
You ready to do all that criminal justice reform on your own. Tell us a little bit about your practice, why you decided to hang up your own shingle and not go for work for somebody else.
Okay. Well, one, God is great. Let's just
Amen.
just do that one time real quick. But the first thing I remember you asking is why did I decide to hang up my own shingle?
Yes, sir.
And that's a simple answer. I believe in ownership.
Okay.
And I equate a law firm to owning a small business.
Okay.
Essentially, that's what it is.
Indeed.
And that's normally what a lot of lawyers mess up. Because
Okay.
they don't run their practice like a business. They don't have that business acumen.
Okay.
But I'm all about ownership. And so I wanted to hang out my own shingle because I have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of student debt, which y'all can have another whole segment about.
Honestly.
You gotta put that to
But
use.
I was like, why am I going to stand in line and fight everybody for this one position at this law firm when the person that owns that law firm decided one day to just start their own practice?
Indeed.
So why have out the knives when I
Right.
can just start my own thing and just build from that?
Okay.
And so that was the reason I decided to hang my own shingle.
So in the time that we met at that Christmas party to now, and I've known you and we've kept in touch in
Which is hard to do with me.
That's so we've kept in touch, and you always had a plan, and like Markel is always saying in his own positive spin on things, there's always a plan. You know what I'm saying? Even though stuff got hard, you didn't stop your focus. So who did you meet in this area that kind of lent a hand back? You know, maybe some older brothers and sisters who are practicing that kind of lent their arm back to kind of pull you forward and bring you to where you stand now.
Absolutely. The first name on that list is Robert Walker. I have office space in his office, in his building.
Okay.
And full disclosure, Rob, I failed the bar exam 5 times before I passed it.
Okay.
And that entire time, Rob supported me through every failure. He never fired me. He still let me come to the office and work.
Okay.
And he couldn't pay me a lot, but those little checks like kept food in my stomach and stuff like that.
Okay, indeed.
So first and foremost, it would be Robert Walker.
Okay, shout out Robert Walker. Thank you for not giving up on this young man.
Angel Sharp,
Okay.
who's Rob's paralegal and office manager.
Okay.
She was always supportive. She always gave me some guidance and words of wisdom. And those are the people directly in the legal field. And of course, Rob's friends, Arnold Henderson comes to mind. There's a young lady that we have in common. She's an attorney.
Stacey
Lee and Doris Causey. Yes.
Okay.
They looked out. The Central Virginia Legal Aid Society.
Okay.
Which is down the street. A lot of people use them for free legal aid.
Okay.
I didn't have, before I went to law school, I went up and down Broad Street, handed out my resume.
Indeed.
And attorney Freddie Good at the Virginia Legal Aid Society gave me my first shot helping people with disability cases.
Wow.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So these are the people that help you build this foundation. So now you've passed the bar. Tell our viewers what type of law you practice. What are you practicing currently?
So I'm licensed in DC. So in DC, I'm doing criminal work, personal injury cases predominantly. But I'm also going to do immigration in veteran claims benefits appeals.
Okay.
And those are federal things. So, or federal, I guess they would fall in the federal bucket. So that allows me to be able to interview clients in Virginia and stuff like that,
Okay.
because the case will be tried in DC.
Understood. Okay.
So the Virginia rules, because I'm not practicing Virginia law,
Okay.
allows me to deal with those clients on that federal level.
Understood.
And it just so happens that those are two frontline issues for young attorneys.
Okay.
And that's something I want to disclose to the people, especially people that are vets and immigrants. As I speak on behalf of young attorneys, we are coming to help you.
Indeed.
Just want you to know.
Okay. So that's so it's 2 shows in a row. We had the Second Amendment show that was going to be a big thing. Just your opinion or your experience thus far with immigration law. I know that my father came from Trinidad, and I know that growing up in New York, Brooklyn and Queens, where you have a large group of immigrant populations coming into the United States, I know a lot of people had difficulty trying to come in and do what they needed to do. In your experience, what's going on politically, how do you see you can help? Or what's your perspective on the situation at this point?
Number one, education.
Okay.
I can jump on podcasts.
Okay.
I can jump on my social media and just educate people. I have an Instagram, the Dreaded ESQ, is kind of like my legal Instagram.
Okay.
I posted a little video of a flyer that just outlined basic route to citizenship.
Okay.
Like you have a U.S. ancestor that's a citizen, something like that, like the basic stuff.
Right.
Like nothing complicated.
Okay.
It's a huge poster, and it's like 4 parts, moving lines going everywhere. It's super complex. There's so many moving parts.
Okay.
So it's just educating people, basically what forms you need to fill out. Because each country, first of all, people migrate to America for a plethora of reasons.
Understood.
It's not always asylum.
Okay.
There's work visas. So the visas go from like A to R.
Okay.
One thing that I was given an example of recently, the clergy. So if you have a nun or a priest and they're in another country and you would like to have them come over to the United States to help do some religious service,
Okay.
there's a visa for that.
Understood.
So there's so many reasons for people want to come to the United States. It's just educating them and letting them know what forms and the procedures you need to fill out to get you on your way.
So when you hear about these sensationalized cases, like there have been some cases in the news, somebody's been here for like 15 years and they just never did their paperwork, and then you got the ICE agents kicking their door down. I know that's kind of tugging at the heartstrings of people, but what could they have done in that period that they didn't apparently fill out some paperwork, they didn't talk to an attorney? So what do you say?
That's
to
the
people
thing.
like that?
That's the thing. If you're unsure about your citizenship status, seek an attorney. Find an immigration attorney.
Okay.
And give them your information. They're going to do an intake form on you. They're going to do their research in the databases. They're going to compare what that country requires in that the United States needs for you to become a citizen.
Okay.
They need to. It's not cookie cutter for every country.
Understood. Okay.
So that needs to get worked out, and that's what people need to do. They need to find an attorney first and foremost, and plead their situation to an attorney. Don't, out of fear, don't do anything. But that's the worst thing you can do in any situation.
Okay. And
sometimes those stories, whether they're true or not, there has to be some truth in the story. So it might not have been a 15-year stay, it might have been a 5.
Okay.
Right? But that stay, that overextension, staying in the United States as an illegal immigrant, there's a time window that you can do that before it interferes with your application to apply.
Okay.
So like, let's say you're here with a visa and that visa expires, but you don't go through the proper channels to renew that visa, and you just, I'm not worrying about it. Nothing's happening. I'm fine. What can happen is you can then surpass the time that when you do try to apply legally,
Right.
you can't. Because one of the questions will be, how long have you lived in the United States
Okay.
as not a citizen?
Okay.
And if you answer longer than that period,
Right.
they're going to deny your application.
Kyle.
What would be somewhat of like a range, like 6 months after expiration or a year after?
Right. So I don't want to misquote, but I believe it's about 6 months. It's not that long.
Is it the
But
same for each country, or is it different?
No.
for each
That number is a static number.
Understood.
Right? It's just as far as immigrants and how long they can stay if they're on an illegal status.
Okay.
Right? If they're not properly in the United States, if they're not citizens.
Okay.
How long you can stay in the United States as a non-citizen. But that's the thing with immigration. So immigration, most statutes, as you guys know, Constitution, federal government, state, right?
Right.
What a lot of people don't know, there's CFRs, codified federal regulations. Okay? And so agency-made law, essentially.
Understood.
A lot of immigration is agency-made law.
Okay.
So it's not like you just go to the Constitution and there's your Bill of Rights, I know my rights.
Right.
Or you just go to your state library and I'm just going to pull up all the criminal code.
Right.
It's an
Whatever they made
agency did a policy mandate over here that you may not know about. There's some case law over here, and that corresponds to a federal law over here.
Okay.
So it's so many moving parts,
Understood.
and the forms are so complex to fill out too.
Understood.
It's just you need a lawyer, or you need to contact the organization
Right.
That can
that
help.
has lawyers
Okay.
that can help you through the process.
Got you.
That's the number one thing.
Okay.
This is not a DIY situation.
Understood.
Right.
This is not what this is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people get in
Yeah.
trouble with.
Okay.
Because it's that same ingenuity, right, that have gotten people to the doors of the United States. And it's also that same ingenuity that America is supposed to reward people. But if you go through the proper channel, we want ingenious people here to solve problems.
That's right. I
So
understand.
we
Right.
want that critical thinking, but just not when it comes to filling out your paperwork.
I-
You see?
All right. Well, any other last questions, Markel?
My question is for you as a young black male in the field of passing the bar. So you did take it a couple of times,
Yes.
but I don't look at it as failures. Those were trials. Those were learning opportunities. So in my opinion, you probably know more than the person who actually took the bar one time, because you know, hey, you've seen it multiple times. The things that's on it, you've seen how it's been worded, and basically you have it more application and taking the test and knowing the
Absolutely.
answers.
I know
than
random
most people.
stuff. I know random stuff.
So, so it definitely wasn't a failure in that case.
Indeed.
My question is more so for like the encouragement for young black males and females who want to get into the legal field. A lot of times we just talk about law enforcement, police officers and stuff like that, and there's a stigmatism behind being a police officer as a black individual. But when it comes to being a lawyer, there's somewhat of a stigmatism behind that too. We don't talk too much about the lawyers. A lot of people we respect the lawyer more than the police officer, of course, because that's the one that's getting us out of trouble. But in your experience, is there a lot of African Americans that you know of that's pursuing being a lawyer, or what would you say to encourage young people to go into that field?
I would say the numbers growing. I would definitely say the numbers growing. I don't think we have saturated the legal market by no means. And I think I don't think this is controversial. This is my thoughts, and I think it's true. I think black women outperform black men in the field. So I think there should still be a push to help get black men in the field. Not to say that there shouldn't be a push to get all minorities
Right.
into the field. I mean, we need inclusion and diversity. It's just that black women do dynamic in this field.
Okay.
I do see
They
that.
do dynamic.
Shout out Stacey Lee.
The last president of the ABA was a black woman. It just in my career, my dealings outstanding. Some of the highest level of advocacy, but however, receive some of the most criticism, and they have to prove themselves more. And I think that's what makes them so good.
Understood.
Gotcha.
That's deep.
Right.
Keep pushing through adversity.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And as far as motivation, everybody should be a lawyer. If you're not a doctor, you should go to law school. I don't care if you're a mechanic, a politician, what have you.
Shout
right?
out next guest, Pete Wells,
Because-
behind the camera.
Because there's no aspect of your life that the law doesn't affect.
Right.
So knowing the law would just make you a better person. And not everybody has to go to take the bar exam and to go into the courtroom. You can just have your JD, right, which is a doctorate level degree,
Okay.
right? Just having that knowledge and just knowing how the pieces work, right? I'm gonna leave out on this. Mitchell Doxey. Shout out Ryan, Shannon, and Mitch. They know what I'm talking about. Mitch was my law school roommate. He was from Wayland, Michigan, right?
Wow.
So it was a very homogeneous setting, right? Most of his family, chill, but great dude, right? And basically, we were roommates for 2 years. At the end of law school, I asked him, being my roommate and going through law school at the same time, and going through law school with me being your roommate, right? What's the number one thing that you got from law school? He said, I just wasn't aware of all the injustices that are out here in the world. And I wasn't aware of the obstacles people had to get through just to make it, right? Or some of the things, obstacles that that other people got to go through that I don't,
Understood.
because of different stuff.
Okay.
And I said, Mitch, that was crazy because I was aware of the injustices. I just understand more why they are.
Right. You've got a better understanding of
Understand
why
why
they are.
Right.
the injustices are.
Right? And this is why everybody should go to law school, just for the perspective of a lawyer. Just to gain that perspective. That alone is worth
Right.
the money.
Okay.
I mean, to work out
Yeah.
financial aid,
Right.
but but yes, I'm telling you, because think about it. If everyone knew the law, how better we would be as a society.
Right.
I think for me, and one lawyer I had in my first divorce, he told me, and it was profound at the time, I didn't create your problem. Once he told me that, everything I've been through legally since then,
Right.
I've always remembered that he told me, Corey, I didn't create your problem. You created your problem. I'm just here to help you the best I can. And sometimes helping the best I can doesn't mean you're going to get off scot-free.
Right, right.
It doesn't mean that, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you're going to have to ride that bus. You
Gotta
know what I'm
go through the
saying?
ugly on that.
I've rode the bus several times.
Good, bad, and
You know what I'm
ugly.
saying?
Yeah, yeah,
The good, bad, ugly. I've ridden the bus several times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm happy. The day you came in and saw me, Jacoby and I passed ways last time in the state office building that I work in. And I happened to go to work early, and he was like, I didn't expect you to be here. And that's when he told me the great news that he passed the bar, that he was going to be, hanging up his own shingle, and he had some space for us here at Talks Over Drinks. So I'm humbled. Your energy is outstanding.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
And I know we'll talk off camera, but law school is probably the last thing I haven't done with my life. And now that my kids are older and I have a little bit more time on my hands, I think I'm going to be shortly taking that delve.
Absolutely.
So I will definitely be working with you in the future.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming.
No problem. And much success.
Absolutely.
And Talks Over Drinks forever.
All right. Jacoby K. Whitley, Esquire. You know what I'm saying? We're going to cut to a commercial real quick. We're going to have our next guest come on out. Corey Fauquier, Markel Grimes, attorney Jacoby K. Whitley, Talks Over Drinks. Cheers.
Over drink, pull up a chair and let's chill.